Welcome to the Practice of Behavior Analysis podcast, a platform for connection, dissemination, and collaboration. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our very first video podcast. We are really excited to share some of the information on the Chicago Schools newsletter relaunch that is happening this week. The first video we're doing is really just an overview of who we are, what we stand for, some of the things you may expect from the newsletter, from the videos, and really just to share our mission and values. So we'll start with a brief introduction of ourselves. We are the podcast team. My name is Jessica Fuller. I'm a BCBA and second year doctoral student here at the Chicago School for the ABA online program. Some of my research interests include the use of behavioral skills training to teach therapists new skills remotely. I also am really into researching multiculturalism within our field, and my biggest passion of all involves the use of mindfulness in our everyday life, particularly as parents, within the scope of behavior analysis.
Hi everyone, my name is Grecia. Most people call me Grace. I'm a BCBA and an LBA in New York. Finishing up my first year as a PhD student. I was born here in New York, but I lived several years of my childhood in Colombia, where my parents are from. I've worked in the field for about 7 years. I've been a BCBA for only 2 years, a little over 2 years. And I have been fortunate enough to work in a variety of settings, including school, clinical settings, adult day programs, and even abroad. My interests are a little all over the place, but I'm working on narrowing that down. I'm interested in RFT, diversity and inclusion, applied animal setting, and leveraging on technology for behavioral procedures, among other things.
Hi, my name is Yannick Taylor. I am a master's student in the ABA program to get my BCBA. And I am a first year student. I just completed my first year, yay. I'm a mother of 2 toddlers. I also have a degree in psychology, applied psychology. And my research interests are mainly to do with the delay discounting and mindfulness and acceptance and commitment therapy.
So we want to briefly just show you our newsletter and how to navigate it. So I'm going to share my screen. So as you can see, our newsletter is a little more dynamic, is interactable. So you can click and choose what you want to read. You can like and you can comment. Please check out our article submission guidelines. And yeah, you will receive a link. So click on it and check us out.
So we want to talk about our chairperson of the newsletter is Amanda Mahoney, assistant professor at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology right here. She has PhD and BCBAD. Dr. Mahoney is a board certified behavior analyst with a background in applied and experimental behavior analysis. She earned her PhD in psychology from Western Michigan University in 2012, and she is teaching experience. She has teaching experience in behavior analysis, both online and in the classroom, and has served on student research committees. Also, she is an associate editor of behavior analysis, and she researches and practices and sits on the editorial board of the analysis of verbal behavior. Her areas of interest include stimulus categorization and equivalence, applied animal behavior, and behavior change of groups and societies. She has a couple areas of expertise, if y'all were wondering: applied behavior analysis, translational research, experimental analysis of behavior, applied animal training, like I mentioned before, and teaching behavior analysis, verbal behavior, and treatment of the problem. Those are her specializations.
All right, so now we're going to jump into the newsletter rules so you have a little bit of an idea of who's behind what. Our newsletter is divided into 4 different categories. So as you can see from my chart here, we have our monitoring and evaluation department, our editorial team, the art design, and then the outreach and multimedia team. Obviously, we're part of that outreach and multimedia team that is divided into the alumni relations, the blog, and then the podcast. And then the editorial team is also divided into 3 different categories, where you have your faculty editor, your student editors, and your paper reviewers. Once we have the site launched, you can go on there and click on everyone's name and just kind of get to know us a little bit better. There's going to be bios for everyone. And just so you can learn a little bit about all the really great people that are behind putting this newspaper together or newsletter together.
And to provide us with long-term direction, we rely on our values and missions. So at the TCSPP, we value education, innovation, service, and community. Our mission is to integrate theory, professional practice, and innovation to provide excellent education for careers in psychology and related behavioral health services. The school is committed to service and embraces diverse communities of our society. Through innovation and quality, TCSPP strives to realize its mission to be the leading school of professional psychology in the world. Yay, yes.
Yes. So a little bit of what to expect for future episodes. I think, like we mentioned at the beginning of this one, this is just a little more of an overview, what you should expect from the newsletter as a whole. But from the video podcast, we want to kind of shine a light on different student and faculty members from the Chicago School, from our department, from other departments that are just doing something kind of outside of the box, or that are really working hard on their research and their projects. So our goal is to find different people to interview throughout the next few months and just have kind of a lineup of exciting information to share with you. The newsletter will also have a blog section, and our goal is to really align our topics with what they're discussing throughout the months as well, so that you as the reader have a really overall well-rounded narrative of what the topic we're investigating is about.
Yes, and we also want to highlight some things that's not a part of our newsletter, but something that, you know, that we should be aware of. That is, July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and HHH has some resources for cultural competency for behavioral health professionals. And if you go to their links on the newsletter blog, you'll be able to see those. July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And I found in the Student Life and Event newsletter, they highlighted some things. They highlighted some faculty. They highlighted some books to read, some student interest groups and wellness resources. And what I did like was a quote that they had talking about diversity, saying that diversity is not about how we differ. Diversity is about embracing one another's uniqueness. They have some resources for NAM, which is National Alliance of Mental Health Illness, and you can log on their website, the Loveland Foundation, to find out more information. They also have podcasts called Black People Go to Therapy Too. It's run by a TCSPP student, and Melanin and Mental Health. And this is a resource. Melanin and Mental Health is a resource that you can also use. They also highlighted Dr. Vivian Pacania. She is the department chair of the International Psychology Department. She began her education and career in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with a focus on cognitive and behavior analysis. She received a doctoral degree in the field of addictive and chemical behaviors at the university in Brazil. And since 1988, she has worked on advanced research and education for addictive disorders. So that's one person they highlighted, and you can go check out the newsletter if you want to see the other people that they highlighted. And some readings that they did highlight that I actually ordered one of these books from reading this newsletter was, this wasn't the book I ordered, but some of the books are called Bias. And they have a book called Citizens But Not Americans, written by Naida Flores. And that examines how Latino millennials understand race, experience race, and stuff like that. To check that out. They also have a book called Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joyce DeGruy. They also have Unapologetically Guide to Mental Health, Black Mental Health, by Rita Walker, PhD, if you wanted to get that book. They also highlighted some interest groups, some student interest groups, just all for people who want information about interest groups in our school. So they have brave spaces for diverse students. They have health services for the student board. They have Alpha Kappa Zeta chapter, if anyone was interested, at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. They also have an online campus Black Student Union, and some wellness resources that they did talk about was for alcohol and other drugs. They have resources at the Chicago School on the student life pages for counseling. They also have guided meditation in this time of pandemic. You need to relax and stuff, so that can help you as well. And those are just some of the things that they highlighted for July in this newsletter. Thank you.
And then once
Thank you,
we have
Rosie.
that those links on our website or on the newsletter, you can see a link to the Calm Lab that will also have some information on those guided meditations and things related to wellness and mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Well, last but not least, we want to send well wishes to everybody. We are hoping that everybody is staying healthy and taking care of themselves. Again, for additional support or help, please visit the TCSPP Counseling Service homepage. There will be additional links on our newsletter blog, so look out for that. And yeah, we're very excited about this opportunity. There's so much growth within our field, and we're seeing a lot of other fields outside of our field using our science. So it's a great time for collaboration, innovation, dissemination, and pushing our science forward. So we're very excited, and our newsletter team is looking forward to the feedback from our fellow peers and faculty members.